You're not her first choice. You're her safe option, not the man she dreams about, the man she settles for when dreams don't work out, not the one who makes her heart race, the one who makes her life stable, not the risk she takes, the insurance she keeps. You think you're building relationship. You're filling position called backup, position she created before she met you, position she'll maintain after you think you've won her, position that's not about who you are, but what function you serve. She doesn't love you less. She loves you differently, loves you practically, strategically, transactionally, loves you the way you love steady paycheck, reliable car, comfortable bed, necessary, appreciated, valued, but not desired, not craved, not irreplaceable. Your plan B living in illusion your plan A, and she knows it, knows exactly what position you occupy, knows exactly what function you serve, knows exactly why she keeps you, and she's comfortable with arrangement because arrangement serves her, gives her stability while she maintains hope for excitement, gives her security while she stays available for opportunity, gives her relationship while she keeps options open. This isn't conscious cruelty. This is strategic positioning. She's not trying to hurt you. She's optimizing her situation. Not malicious. She's practical. Not evil. She's smart. Smart enough to keep backup in place while pursuing preferred outcomes. What if I told you there are specific signals that reveal backup position, that you're seeing them daily, but interpreting them wrong? That difference between chosen and kept is visible in patterns you think are normal, that she's showing you your position constantly, but you keep reading signals as commitment. Millions of men are living as backups right now, thinking they're first choices. They see her presence and assume preference, see her consistency and believe priority, see her commitment and trust they're chosen, but presence isn't preference. Consistency isn't priority. Commitment isn't choice. I've watched this dynamic destroy men across more time than you can imagine. Same pattern, man investing fully while woman maintains him functionally. Same confusion when she leaves for someone else. Same devastation discovering he was never really first. Today I'm not telling you you're inadequate. I'm showing you your position. And positions are structural, not personal. This is backup position analysis. Pay very close attention. If you're watching this because she left you for someone else, if you're confused because you did everything right, but she chose different, if you're devastated because you thought you were her person, comment Plan B below, because you need to understand you weren't inadequate. You were positioned, and position determines outcome regardless of performance. Your comment helps another man see he's not failure, he's backup, and backup is position, not verdict. Recognizing position changes everything about how you interpret past. Now let me show you 5 signals that confirmed your backup position and how you misread each one. Here's what you need to understand about backup positioning. It's not about your value. It's about her strategy. She's not keeping you because you're insufficient. She's keeping you because you're functional. Not because you're wrong person, because you're right position. Right position meaning stable, reliable, available, committed. Backup isn't insult, it's role. Role that serves specific function in her life architecture. You provide stability while she pursues excitement. You provide security while she takes risks. You provide commitment while she maintains options. You're not less valuable. You're differently functional. This creates dynamic where she can optimize for multiple outcomes, can have stability without sacrificing possibility, can have security without closing doors, can have relationship without limiting options. And you, your infrastructure that enables this optimization. She's not using you maliciously. She's using you strategically, and strategy isn't personal. Strategy is structural. You could be perfect man and still be backup, because backup isn't about quality. It's about position. Primary position goes to man who creates uncertainty, who generates intensity, who makes her feel things she can't control. That man might be terrible partner, might be unreliable, might be unstable, doesn't matter. He occupies primary position because he triggers primary responses. You occupy backup because you create stability, because you're reliable, because you make life easier. These are valuable functions. just not first choice functions, not dream position functions, not irreplaceable functions. Let me show you 5 signals that revealed your backup position. Signal 1, priority inversion. First signal is how she prioritizes you versus others. Not what she says about priority, what she demonstrates through action, through scheduling, through availability, through responsiveness. Primary position gets spontaneous access. Backup position gets scheduled access. Primary gets immediate response. Backup gets eventual response. Primary gets flexibility. Backup gets routine. Watch how quickly she responds to certain people versus you. Watch how readily she cancels plans with you versus others. Watch how much advance notice she needs from you versus who she makes spontaneous time for. Michael noticed this pattern with Lauren, but explained it wrong. He'd text. She'd respond hours later, sometimes next day. But he'd see her active on social media, clearly on phone, clearly seeing messages, just not responding to his. He explained it as she's busy, she's stressed, she has a lot going on. Didn't want to seem needy by bringing it up. Thought he was being understanding by not demanding immediate attention. What he didn't see is she responded immediately to certain other people made. Spontaneous plans with friends, adjusted schedule for family, cleared time for coworkers. Everyone got access except him. Everyone got responsiveness. Except him, everyone got priority except him. She wasn't too busy for everyone. She was too busy for him specifically. Not because she didn't care, because he occupied position that didn't require immediate attention. Position where delayed response was acceptable. Position where she could get to him when convenient. This is priority inversion. Person in primary position gets treated as priority. Person in backup position gets treated as reliable constant. She doesn't rush to respond to you because she knows you'll be there when she responds. Doesn't prioritize your plans because she knows you'll accommodate rescheduling. Doesn't give you spontaneous access because scheduled access is sufficient for your position. You thought her taking time to respond meant she was busy, meant she had active life, meant she was independent. You didn't realize busy stopped being busy for people in primary position. Active life made room for people who occupied priority space. Independence was selective. Primary position creates urgency. Backup position gets patience. Primary gets immediately. Backup gets eventually. And eventually is enough, because backup isn't going anywhere. Signal 2, conditional enthusiasm. Second signal is enthusiasm she shows for you versus enthusiasm she shows for possibilities. Not general happiness level, but specific enthusiasm patterns, enthusiasm that appears and disappears based on circumstances. She's enthusiastic when primary options aren't available. Enthusiastic when she's feeling secure. Enthusiastic when life is stable. But enthusiasm decreases when possibilities emerge. Decreases when she's feeling attractive attention. Decreases when options appear. This creates pattern where you can't predict her enthusiasm. Sometimes she's very engaged, sometimes distant, sometimes affectionate, sometimes cold. You explain pattern as mood swings, as stress cycles, as natural relationship rhythm. With her option availability, when better options available, her enthusiasm for you decreases. When options absent, her enthusiasm increases. You're not person she's consistently enthusiastic about. Your fallback she's conditionally enthusiastic about. James experienced this throughout relationship with Sophia. Some weeks she was incredibly engaged, wanted to spend lots of time together. Very affectionate, talked about future. He felt relationship was strong. Other weeks she was distant, less available, less responsive, less interested. He'd worry something was wrong, ask if she was okay. She'd say everything was fine, just busy, stressed, needed space. Pattern repeated for a year. Good weeks, then distant weeks, engaged, then withdrawn, close, then far. He thought it was just her personality. Thought she needed space periodically. Thought natural relationship rhythm. What he didn't track is timing. Didn't notice distant weeks correlated with certain events. Didn't see pattern aligned with her being around certain people. Didn't recognize enthusiasm decreased when she received attention from specific sources. Her enthusiasm wasn't random, was conditional. Condition being absence of better options. Your enthusiasm default, not enthusiasm choice. When nothing more exciting available, enthusiasm for you increased. When more exciting possibilities emerged, enthusiasm for you decreased. This is conditional enthusiasm if you are primary position. Her enthusiasm would be consistent regardless of options. If you were first choice, her engagement wouldn't decrease when other possibilities appeared. Primary position creates unconditional enthusiasm. Backup position creates conditional enthusiasm. You thought good weeks meant relationship was strong. Good weeks meant she was settling into backup position. You thought distant weeks meant she needed space. Distant weeks meant she was considering primary possibilities. Signal 3. Comparative language. Third signal is how she talks about you versus how she talks about others. Not content of what she says. Structure of how she describes. Language patterns that reveal hierarchical thinking. When she talks about you, she uses practical language. Responsible, stable, reliable, good person, treats me well, makes life easier. These are functional descriptors, not aspirational descriptors, not desire descriptors. When she talks about certain others, past or present, she uses different language. Exciting, passionate, intense, made me feel alive. Had crazy chemistry, couldn't stop thinking about. These are primary descriptors. Desire descriptors, obsession descriptors. You're described functionally. They're described experientially. You're what she thinks she should want. They're what she actually wants. Your smart choice. Their authentic desire. Robert heard this pattern, but missed significance. Lauren would tell friends he's great guy. So stable, treats me really well. Very dependable. I'm lucky to have someone so reliable. He heard praise, didn't hear language. Heard compliments, didn't hear comparison. Heard appreciation, didn't hear absence. Absence of what? Absence of desire language. Absence of passion words. Absence of can't control descriptions. She described him like describing good appliance, like praising reliable car, like appreciating comfortable furniture. Meanwhile, she'd describe X differently. He was terrible for me, so unstable, treated me badly. But God, we had chemistry. Couldn't stop thinking about him even when I knew I should. You hear that and think, good, she learned. She's choosing better now. She's choosing me because I'm healthier option. But pay attention to language. With him, she felt things she couldn't control. With you, she makes smart choice. With him, she had chemistry she couldn't explain. With you, she has reasons she can list. This is comparative language. Primary position gets described with emotion. Backup position gets described with logic. Primary gets passion language. Backup gets practical language. Primary makes her feel. Backup makes her think. You're not described worse. You're described differently. Described the way people describe things they should appreciate. Described the way people talk about smart decisions. Described the way people reference good investments. But people don't leave smart decisions for stupid ones unless smart decision lacks what stupid decision provides. Unless good investment doesn't create what bad risk creates. Unless practical choice doesn't generate what passionate choice generates. Signal 4. Initiation asymmetry. Fourth signal is who initiates what, not whether things happen. Who makes them happen. Who suggests. Who plans. Who pursues. Who creates. Backup position does most initiating. Primary position receives most initiating. Backup suggests dates. Primary gets suggested to. Backup initiates contact. Primary receives contact. Backup creates momentum. Primary rides momentum. This creates dynamic, where you're constantly in pursuit mode, even in relationship. Constantly suggesting next thing. Constantly initiating contact. Constantly planning dates. Constantly creating connection. You think this is being proactive, being romantic, being engaged partner. Think you're showing interest, showing effort, showing commitment. But notice asymmetry. Notice how rarely she initiates, how infrequently she suggests, how seldom she plans. She participates when you create. She engages when you initiate. She shows up when you organize. But creation is your role. Marcus experienced this with Jessica. He planned every date, suggested every activity, initiated almost every conversation, organized every weekend, created every special moment. Jessica participated happily, seemed to enjoy everything, seemed engaged and present, but never planned anything herself, never suggested dates, rarely initiated conversations, waited for him to create structure. He thought she was just less organized, less proactive, more go with flow. Thought it meant she was easygoing. Thought it was personality difference, not position difference. But people initiate for primary position. People plan for first choice. People pursue what they want. If she's not initiating, she's not pursuing. If she's not planning, she's not prioritizing. If she's waiting for you to create, she's accepting what you provide. This is initiation asymmetry. Primary position inspires initiation. Backup position requires initiation. She initiates for people she's pursuing. She waits for people she's keeping. She creates for people she wants. She participates with people who are there. Your infrastructure that requires maintenance, not opportunity that creates urgency. She doesn't initiate because she doesn't need to. You're already doing it. You're already creating. You're already pursuing. Her role is accepting, not initiating. Signal 5, future vagueness. Fifth and most telling signal is how specifically she includes you in future, not whether she talks about future. How concrete that future is. How detailed. How committed. How definite. Backup position gets vague future. Someday, eventually, we'll see, maybe, probably. Indefinite timelines, unclear commitments, flexible plans. Primary position gets specific future, planning, dates, commitments, clear timelines, definite plans. She talks about future with you in abstract, talks about future without you in concrete, talks about someday with you, talks about next month without you, talks about we'll see regarding you, talks about definite regarding other plans. David noticed this throughout relationship with Rachel. She'd talk about future together in general terms. Someday we should travel. Eventually we'll need bigger place. Maybe we'll get married someday. But her individual future plans were specific. Applying to this program next year, planning this trip in 6 months, making these career moves by this date. Her solo future was concrete. Shared future was abstract. He thought it meant she was independent, thought it meant she had her own goals, thought it was healthy she maintained individual identity, didn't recognize pattern, didn't see she planned her future specifically and fit him in vaguely, didn't understand concrete plans reveal priority, vague plans reveal position. If you were primary position, you'd be in concrete plans, you'd be in specific timelines, you'd be in definite commitments. Your inclusion wouldn't be vague, wouldn't be eventual, wouldn't be someday. This is future vagueness. She can't commit to specific future with you because you occupy position that might become unnecessary, position that serves function until better option appears, position that's conditional, not permanent. She loves you now, loves you functionally, loves you as long as function serves. But permanent future requires permanent position, requires primary place, requires first choice status, and you don't occupy that space. These 5 signals, priority inversion, conditional enthusiasm, comparative language, initiation asymmetry, future vagueness, these showed you your position throughout relationship, showed you daily, constantly, obviously, but you misread every signal. Misread priority inversion as her being busy. Misread conditional enthusiasm as mood cycles. Misread comparative language as learning from mistakes. Misread initiation asymmetry as personality difference. Misread future vagueness as healthy independence. Every signal said backup. You read every signal as commitment. This is crucial understanding. Signals weren't subtle, weren't hidden, weren't unclear. You saw signals constantly. You just interpreted through lens of wanting to be chosen, through frame of believing relationship meant first choice, through assumption that commitment meant primary. But here's devastating truth about backup position. You can't change position through performance. You can be perfect backup, most stable, most reliable, most committed, most giving. Won't change position. Position isn't about quality of backup. Position is about function backup serves. She doesn't promote backup to primary, because primary isn't about being better backup. Primary is different function entirely. Primary creates feelings backup can't create. Primary generates experiences backup doesn't generate. Primary occupies space backup doesn't access. You are trying to be best at wrong thing. Excelling at backup position. Optimizing stability when primary requires instability. Maximizing reliability when primary needs unpredictability. Perfecting safety when primary demands danger. Different positions, different requirements, different functions. Being excellent backup doesn't make you primary. Makes you excellent backup. Makes you even more useful in position you occupy. Makes her even less likely to risk losing functional backup by changing dynamic. In all my time observing human power dynamics, this backup position is among most misunderstood. Men think being backup means they're insufficient, means they need to improve, means they should try harder. But backup isn't about insufficiency. Backup is about position, and position is structural, not evaluative. You can be high-value person in backup position, can be quality partner serving backup function, can be excellent man occupying secondary space. Position doesn't reflect your value. Position reflects her strategy, and her strategy is about optimizing her outcomes, not about your adequacy. She keeps backup because backup serves her, provides stability she wants, security she needs, relationship she values, while maintaining space for primary to appear, space for excitement to emerge, space for passion to develop. You're not kept because you're insufficient. You're kept because you're functional. And functionality is valuable, just not the value that makes someone first choice. So what do you do with this understanding? First, recognize position determines outcome. If you're in backup position, best performance won't change result. If she's keeping you as plan B, becoming better plan B won't make you plan A. Position change requires dynamic change, requires creating different responses, requires occupying different space, requires being what primary is, not what backup is. And often that means becoming less stable, less reliable, less available, less certain. Most men can't do this, won't do this, because becoming less stable feels like becoming worse partner. Becoming less reliable feels like failing. Becoming less available feels wrong. But backup position exists because you're stable, reliable, available. Reducing those traits threatens backup position, might lose position entirely. But keeping those traits guarantees staying in position, staying backup, staying second choice. Then understand that she's not villain for keeping backup. She's strategist. Strategy of maintaining stable base while pursuing optimal outcomes is smart strategy. Cruel maybe, but smart, painful for you, but practical for her. She's optimizing her situation. You're caught in optimization. She's not evil. She's strategic, and strategy requires pieces. Pieces that serve functions. Your functioning piece, functioning exactly as your position requires. And finally accept that being chosen and being kept are different states. Chosen means priority. Kept means functional. Chosen means first. Kept means available. Chosen means irreplaceable. Kept means serviceable. You weren't chosen, you were kept. Kept for function you served. Kept for stability you provided. Kept for reliability you offered. Kept until no longer needed. Kept until better option appeared. Kept until primary position filled. Knew it when you thought you'd been chosen. Knew it when you believed you were first. She knows your position, knows your function, knows your role. And she's comfortable with arrangement because arrangement serves her. I watched you optimize for wrong position. Watched you excel at backup. Watched you perfect stability when primary requires instability. You thought being excellent backup would promote you. Being excellent backup made you more useful in position you occupied. I'll be watching.